Good evening, everybody. I'm starting a couple minutes early. So, let's see where we're at. I may try something new today since I am at the office and I have my my StreamYard and such set up. I'm thinking that maybe I can just kind of create this, enter this broadcast, and maybe go over the 1 year Bible and kind of talk about it. Hey, Maria, how are you? Hi, Mary. Hey, Mason. Did any of you get to watch the me talk about Geneva at all? Hey, John. I think I saw John in there and Maria. How did it go? Was it okay? Hi, Rhonda. Hey, Mittens. I hope you had a wonderful Easter. Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. So, anyways, I'm a little. I was a little pissed off. Yes. Hi, Caroline. Dallas. Anyways, it's really bad. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if this is happening in Geneva, where else is it happening? It's probably happening everywhere, right? Um, it's extremely disappointing to say the least. I'm not sure what the hell we do about it, other than we gotta find new people to run for every single race because the corruption is so bad that we need to do something about it. It's going to take a little bit of time. So I was thinking, since I'm here at the office, yeah, just think that's just one town. That's right, John. That's what's crazy. That was literally just one town. Wow. And Illinois is 12 million people. So think about that. There's 50 towns the size of Geneva per million. So that means they're saying there's 600 Genevas. Oh yeah, it's on YouTube. If you Mason, you can go check that out. You know, let me see here. If you go to YouTube, see, right here, so you can go watch the replay. It's live there. So, anyways, I mean, these reports are so long, they're done on purpose to kind of slow people down and discourage them from looking into it. And that's right, Matt, you're right. That's why they're rigging the elections, because they want to steal more money. But I was just shocked that the balance sheet of Geneva has plummeted by $55 million, dollars since 2004. So it's gone down from 85 million to 30 million. For government service asset, government function assets. That's just horrific, folks. $55 million. That comes out to. I should have told everybody what that comes out to. If you have 22,000 people, every $50 is $1 million. So they basically stole $50 per million. Is that right? 100,000, right? Times 50. So they stole over $2,500. It's nuts, right? It's just, I don't know. The whole thing is very disturbing to me, folks, and it just kind of makes me sick. So I try not to think about it too much because I just get upset. So let's go into trying. I'm going to try something new today. So what I'd like to do is kind of go through. I'm going to show the passage from day 44, and then kind of read through some of it, and maybe kind of like ask questions in real time with the actual text. And so let's see if everybody likes this. If everybody likes it, we'll give it a go and do something else, and take it from there. So Exodus 35, and so basically, I'll kind of highlight a couple things and kind of go fast. And every wise heart among us, and every wise-hearted among you shall come and make all the Lord hath commanded. Okay. So once again, this is going through everything and getting everything just right. Incense altar, anointing oil, the altar of burnt offering, the hangings of the court, its pillars, sockets, all these things. Everything is about protocol and making sure people follow the right steps. They have to wear the right clothes. They got to get the right smell. They got to get the right sound. Everything's got to be just right. And then they brought the Lord's offering to the work of the tabernacle of the congregation and for all of his service for the holy garments. Then they came both willing-hearted, bracelets, earrings, rings, tablets, jewels of gold, and they offered the gold to the Lord. And, it's interesting, right? Because gold has a tremendous amount of value in society today, and nothing's changed in 2,000 years. To give you an idea, if you took all of the gold that's ever been mined in the world, like all gold on planet Earth today, all of it, it could fit into a cube under the base of the Statue of Liberty. I want you to think about that for a second. All the gold in the history of planet Earth that's been mined, all of it, can fit in a cube underneath the Statue of Liberty. That's how little gold there is, folks. We think there's like this huge amount of gold in the world. There really isn't. And all that gold is worth over $10 trillion. So to give you an idea how much $10 trillion is, you could probably buy 30 million homes in the United States with $10 trillion. Now keep in mind, this is the gold for the entire planet. And as gold is an element, it can never be destroyed. And it has nothing else in it. It's a pure form. It's an element. So silver, I don't know those stats on silver, Matt, but I'll take a look into it. I do know the stats on gold, though. So anyways, I'll take a look at how much silver there is in the world. But I definitely know that there's more, and you could just look at the price of silver and see that there is more than that. Okay, so then once again, they're really big into the type of colors with clothes and linen, blue, purple, and they do like that. I know purple signifies royalty. That's why the royal color is purple. And I think it's not common. It's I think what is it? Red and blue make purple. Interestingly enough, and so anyways, not enough to go around. That's funny, Maria. With regards to the goal. Oh, you want to see me? Hold on 1 second. I wasn't sure if you guys wanted to see me, Sarah. I thought you want to go over the text here. You guys want to see me next to the text? Is that what you're saying? Make sure I'm not falling asleep? Oh, here we go. And so, keep in mind, folks, I'm going to be switching. I'm rearranging my house and setting it up so that I can I can make it more comfortable, because right now I'm kind of floating. I have my work office, I have my home office, I have equipment here. I got equipment that's not as good at my house, and so it's just all getting a little too much. So I'm going to consolidate and your whole face, not the text. Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Okay, this is going to be a little tricky though, Maria, because I'm looking on this screen over here where I have the copy, and then I have a different computer over here. Now I know, but I wanted to try something different with going over it here. So I'll tell you what, I'll look a little closer, and maybe let's see if I can shrink this thing or something. Hold on a second here. Maybe. Oh, there we go. But now I can't really see it very well. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm gonna have to go back. We love the face. You know what? Look at this face. You want to see the whiskers? I got all this gray hair coming in here since I've been going down this path. I'm looking kind of ragged, folks. I can't believe how much gray hair could come in like 3 months in my face. Like, I don't know what the hell's causing it. It's just kind of one of those things. maybe I just like literally just kind of hit that bubble point where I cross over, and then it's just it's all going downhill from here. But anyway, so just kind of going through Exodus 35. It's we've talked about this a lot, and I got to tell you, as I'm kind of going through, there does seem to be a lot of redundancy in the Bible, and I'm not mocking that. I'm not like mad about the redundancy, folks. But I'm thinking about this, for example. Oh, I need more sleep, KP. Is that what you're telling me? I have a hard time sleeping sometimes. I've had it goes spurts lately. I'll have a lot on my mind, and I'm having all these damn dreams. And I don't say I'm not. I don't want to take. I don't want to say I don't want the dreams. I'm just saying I have a lot of dreams lately, and they wake me up, and they wake me up at 2 or 3 in the morning. And if I don't do something, sometimes I don't write. I think that I can't fall back asleep. So that's the problem. So that's why I'm kind of a little more restless than normal. So I don't know who's I don't know. I'm kind of rambling on here, folks. But going back to what's going on is with regards to these readings, and there's a lot of redundancy that I've noticed, and I'm a big fan. Let me explain how I think I want to tackle the Bible. Like at some point, what I would like to do. Okay, and I don't have time to do this right now, folks. But one of my goals, would be to take the entire Bible, the entire document, and then mathematically score it. Like score every single word and come up with an aggregated message of what it all means, and quantify it, and try to shrink it into the core principles. If God were to shrink, just like we have the 10 Commandments, I would like to create like a really strong condensed version of the Bible, but not lose any of its meaning. Like figure out how to mathematically take all those points, all those concepts and words, and make sure that the message of the words isn't lost, where there's where the words have the same meaning, but then create a word count and a structure where maybe the thing is 50 pages, or 75 pages. So, I understand there's different versions of the Bible, Maria, but I'm saying that there is no condensed version the way I'm describing it that I'm aware of. Maybe there is, and maybe you need to tell me which one I should look at. I think I don't know which one. Maybe I'll do one of each. If I write an algorithm. If I do an algorithm to kind of compress all this, you got to remember, folks, language is a mathematical score, right? We resonate. But this Bible for Dummies, do they take all the lessons and every word in the Bible and quantify them mathematically? That's what I'm saying. I would do a different version. But anyway, so I'm getting off on a topic, off on a tangent. There's a lot of redundancies, and that's funny. Promises made, promises kept. I like that, KP. That's pretty good. And I do like the idea of a micro Bible. But, all these concepts that we keep coming back to is about making sure that we follow tradition, right? If you think about how crazy the world is right now, right? We just had Easter yesterday. And, when I think back about Easter, I think about my parents. And I think about, the way we used to celebrate Easter. Now, granted, some of the traditions we had, as a child, I'm not doing them right now. And so maybe I should give them, I should try them next year, because you guys are just making me think about it right now as I'm talking to you. But, we used to go to church on Saturday and bless the basket. We did have the Easter egg, thing for the girls, for our girls. So that was a lot of fun. They had a lot more fun than I would have thought was possible. So that was wonderful to enjoy that experience with my two daughters that are, 4 and 2. So that was super cool. and I think it was a really big event, growing up. And I don't know, it seems as though that tradition, that attention to detail, that when I would go to church as a child on the holidays, um, I happened to go to a church called St. Stanislaus, Bishop and Martyr. It was a Polish church in Chicago over off of LeClaire, and right across the street from this park called Hanson Park. But it was a beautiful old church, and the deal with this church is, they would do mass in Polish. And I don't know if anybody's ever gone to a Polish mass or seen or heard a Polish mass, especially during the holidays. And, I'm bringing it up because of this, by the way. I'm not going off on a tangent. I'm talking about tradition. So I'm talking about tradition, and every culture has its own traditions. I'm telling you, I'm sharing my Polish tradition. And if Maria might be Italian is my guess. And there's probably some Italians. There's probably some Greeks that are, maybe Greek Orthodox. And there's some, I know there's a few people who are Jewish that are watching. They have their own traditions about what they do and following the Old Testament. And, I'm not sure how much they read the New Testament just as a reference point. I've never really talked about it with some of my Jewish friends. I should probably ask, because the two books are united through Jesus, and I think Jews do view him more as a prophet than the Son of God. So there is something to be said about that, and maybe not all Jews view him as a prophet. Maybe some think he's just like one of us. So so be it. And so I do like the difference of viewpoints, and as long as it's done respectfully, and I do like to talk about it. But anyways, growing up, is I love na zdrowie tis as well with alcohol, like if you have vodka. But anyways, true story: 10% of Russia's revenues to fund their government are vodka sales. The taxes on vodka. Little known fact. But the Russians do like to drink vodka as well. But never forget the truth that vodka was invented in Poland. Don't let the Russians try to steal that idea. Vodka was invented in Poland, and the word voda, V-O-D-A, we just, somebody added the letter K. It's probably those sneaky Russians, and tried to call it, basically say, well, we came up with it. But anyways, voda means water, and you throw the K in, and it turns into vodka. So I call it, anyways, the Polish people view vodka as water. That's what I like to say. But going back to Poland and the traditions of the church, everybody would dress up. Now, I don't remember going to church as a child where people didn't wear a suit. It didn't matter how little money you had. My parents didn't have a lot of money. We weren't in a really wealthy area by any, like we were probably in a low middle class area, slightly, on the borderline of poor as a child. But we were probably struggling to be there. How's that? We grew up poor. We were in a poor, lower middle class area of Chicago. And anyways, every Sunday, everybody would show up dressed in their Sunday finest, and it was a big deal. Going out to a restaurant, it sounds a little silly, and I kind of chuckle about it because I look forward to it every week. Our meal out as a family was going to McDonald's on Sunday after church. That was our treat, is that we can go to McDonald's, and I can order whatever I wanted once a week, and that was the deal, as much as I can eat. And I remember that was the thing that my parents liked to do. We can eat, whatever. And we just had to finish it all, though. That was the deal. You can order as much food as you wanted, but you had to finish it all. So anyways, doing that, but following that tradition is, I think, what this is about. This whole thing with Genesis, not Genesis, but Exodus 35, and I think it spills over into Exodus 36. That... we long for tradition, right? It's kind of what threads us through time. When I think back, right? I'm going to be 46 years old this year. I've had a lot of stuff kind of happen, but I got to tell you, a lot of the time between, I guess living with my parents and experiencing all these things with them, there's something to be said about consistency of tradition, like doing it every year, even if it's 1 or 2 days of the year. So when you do that 1 or 2 days of the year and you follow that tradition, all of a sudden, 10, 20 years later, that tradition has a hell of a lot more meaning to you than if you did it one off. So, you might go to a great trip and you go visit the vineyards of California and you go there one time and you're going to remember it as, wow, that was a great trip. But you're not going to long for the vineyards of California. You went there once. But if you set up a tradition, I think this is the whole point of this whole thing with Exodus, and what kind of protocol you set up for your family, how you break bread, how you celebrate, what are your traditions, how do you, who comes over, what time do they come over? They come over to the same time of the year. Is it always the same family members that are late? Who shows up early? Who ends up getting drunk at these family events? Anyways, there's all these little things that you remember through time based on people's unique personalities, how they behave, what they end up bringing. Do they bring different dishes? And anyways, when I kind of read this, that's kind of what's on my mind is that, the power of that and how God also is showing us through an example of what traditions God wants. God has certain expectations just like us. God's like, you know what? I like it just right. This is the way I like it. I want it done this way. I want everything set up this way. I want this protocol. I want respect. I want you guys to, to be appreciative for everything I'm giving you the rest of the year. So I'm just saying that, this is what comes to my mind when I read this, the twined linen and the blue and purple and scarlet. I'm just thinking about like all these little things my mom would do, right? And my sisters do to this day, just really making sure that the cloth underneath the tablecloth, has to be just right. I don't know. I'm not that guy. But I'm so happy and so glad that there's, my sisters do that. And, my wife has her own traditions and nuances that she does. And, and I think that's the whole point of this is find out, there you go, Aunt Arlene's meatballs and Grandma's gravy and sweet potato casserole. That's what I'm talking about, is that this is part of the human experience. It's like, what are the things that really stand out that you just cannot do? By the way, I will watch The Fiddler on the Roof. I haven't watched it yet, Mittens, but I'll get to it. It's on my agenda of things to do, but I will definitely watch it. I know my wife has talked about it, but I enjoy Polish Mass. And so if you guys take a chance, go to YouTube and just pull up Christmas songs during Polish Mass, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But growing up as a child and going to Polish Mass, and sometimes my dad, he would wake us up if we wanted. He didn't make us go, which is always cool. My parents were never very forceful on some of this stuff. They kind of made you feel guilty, but they didn't make you do it. And they were really good at that. They were very, very good at making you feel like you're disappointing them. So, I just chuckle because that's a very, very valuable trait to have. But going back to what was I going to say? That with regards to traditions and doing these different things, when you do this stuff, it also helps shape the expectations of who shows up. And so, there you go. Dallas, you just said it. They set a permanent neural pathway in our brain. And here's the other part of this neural pathway that I was going to start talking about, and Dallas kind of brought it to the point, or brought it up. is if we show up and we have these awesome traditions, then it's a wonderful way of connecting in a charged emotional state. When you show up and you go to a Polish Mass and you play it and you'll hear for yourself, and everybody is like really charged up, like it has an incredibly powerful meaning to everybody who's attending Mass together with those songs, with that music. And then when you're in that room together, you are more likely to form lasting memories. I do believe that. So when you go and you're around somebody, when you're celebrating something that is near and dear to your heart, you're more likely to remember not just that energy from that tradition, but everybody who you've been around while this is taking place. And so that's the permanent neural pathway, Dallas, that creates the environment for us to remember all the other details that were taking place during we were in that state of that permanent neural pathway. Anyways, so that's my take on it, and I think that's why it's such a powerful thing, and I think that's what makes America great as well, is that we have traditions as Americans. Even though we come from all over the world, all 200 plus countries, and even though we're all over planet Earth, we come here and we have traditions. Like we have traditions such as 4th of July. We have, I think I'm not sure if the U.S. started New Year's. I'm assuming it did, but we have New Year's. We have other holidays. And so forth, like I guess you can say Halloween, which it's always a weird thing, right? Halloween, but I'm just saying that we have our different traditions. I think we need to form some new ones, given that we've observed that there's a bunch of ingrates that have taken advantage of our goodwill and good gestures. Especially in professional sports, they've basically let us down. I think there's a lot of people that feel that way, and I don't think it's something that's going to ever change. Like, I think they really damaged. I almost feel like they severed that pathway. That I don't think it's repairable at this point. So we'll see. I mean, I'm just speaking for myself. I don't know about other people, but the data suggests that I'm not alone. There's a lot of people that have no interest in ever watching a lot of professional sports. They're done with it. And so anyways, I think that's interesting too, because if you do the wrong thing when you're in a charged state for an activity that you love doing, and somebody abused you being in that activity, I think you're that much harsher when you want to just shut it off. Yeah, I agree, Maria. I hope it's not repairable too. These people are degenerates, most of them at least. I'm not saying all of them, but too many to make it worthwhile to watch. Okay, so let's go to Matthew. Let me take a look here. So we go to Matthew. Okay, Matthew 27. And so, and as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. If you guys remember this, right? It's definitely in the movie that we've seen. He was kind of like saying, I'm only helping, but I didn't do anything wrong. And when they were upon a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of the skull, they gave him vinegar to drink mingled with gall, and when he had tasted it, he would not drink. And they crucified him, and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots, and sitting down they watched him there. Okay, so it's interesting because this kind of jumps really fast. Unlike the movie, this was a long scene. They really dragged this out in the scene. So, and here they're like, this guy carried this thing. It was over really fast. They stripped him. They cast dice for his clothes, and then they crucified him right away. And so they put a sign, this is Jesus, the King of the Jews. There were two thieves crucified with him, one on the right, one on the left, and they passed by, reviled him, wagging their heads and saying, Thou that destroyest the temple and buildest in 3 days, save thyself. If thou be the Son of God, come down from the cross. Likewise the chief priests, mocking him with the scribes and elders, said, He saved others, yet he cannot save himself. He cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God. Let him deliver him now, if he will have him. If he will have him, for he said, I am the Son of God. The thieves also, which were crucified with him, cast the same in his teeth. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land until the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour Jesus cried up, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which is, my God, why have you forsaken me? This is a really powerful scene in the movie. So if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. The Passion of the Christ. And some of them stood there when they heard that the man calleth for Elias. And straightway one of them ran, took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him the drink. The rest said, Let us see whether Elias will come and save him. Jesus, when he had cried again with a louder voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain, and on the top of the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. And the graves were opened, and bodies of the saints which slept arose, and came out of the graves after the resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. Now when the centurion and that they were with him watching Jesus saw the earthquake, and those things that were done, they feared greatly. Truly this was the Son of God. And many women were there beholding afar off, which followed Jesus from Galilee, ministering unto him. Among which was Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's children. When the even was come, there came a rich man, Arimathea, named Joseph, who also himself was Jesus' disciple. He went to Pilate and begged for the body of Jesus. The Pilate commanded the body be delivered. When Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it with a clean linen cloth and laid it in a new tomb. And he had hewn on it a rock, and he rolled a great stone to the door of the sepulchre and departed. Sepulchre. Say that fast 10 times. And there was Mary Magdalene, and on the other Mary sitting against the sepulchre. Now the next day they followed the day of preparation. The chief priests and the Pharisees came unto Pilate, saying, Sir, we remember that the deceiver said, while he was alive, after 3 days I will rise again. Command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure until the 3rd day, lest his disciples come by night and steal him away, and say unto the people, He is risen from the dead. So the last error shall be worse than the first. Pilate said unto them, Ye have a watch, go your way, make it as sure as you can. So then they went and made the sepulchre sure, sealing the stone and setting a watch. So what's interesting, once again, when I think about this, I think about this reading and so forth, and I think about, each and every one of us as what we are, right? And, I think about this a lot with regards to, I had this conversation with my wife, right? And I was talking about, we were talking about race in this country, like not just in the country. This seems to be a worldwide issue right now. There's a lot of people in the United States, especially among the people on the left. I'm being polite because this is Bible stuff. But, the people on the left, I say something else when it's not the Bible stuff. But I try to, at least. They try to make race an issue among human beings in the United States as well as worldwide. And it's a very common communist tactic of a satanic type of cult that tries to convince people we are of the flesh. Like, what our spirituality does not matter. Our soul does not matter. We are of this world. No, we are in this world, and that's it. There is nothing outside of this world. And nothing could be further from the truth. We are all spirits first. This body, this physical form that we're in, is just a package. Like, our body is insignificant in the big scheme of things. What matters is our soul. And so when I think about this story, and I think about Jesus, giving of his life in physical form, and losing and shedding that form through the crucifixion, feeling all the pain that the Son of Man felt, I think about the fact that who cares? Who cares about the body? Like, if our spirit is as powerful as we all know it is, then anything that we experience in this physical form is, all things equal, very irrelevant to the big scheme of things. I know that me personally, I've dealt with a tremendous. I can deal with a tremendous amount of pain, and I have a ridiculous tolerance for pain, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if my brain was always wired that way or it's something that I learned, but it's an abnormal amount of pain, almost to the point where, I could probably cause some damage, to my body. You're supposed to feel and deal with pain to keep you from doing something worse, right? It's supposed to act as a deterrent from what you're feeling. You're supposed to break away from it because it hurts too much. And, I, for some reason, don't have that same deterrent. And anyways, this is something to think about from the standpoint of Christ, that Christ, and all of us, not just Christ, but we all are spirits first. And everything that we're experiencing in this physical body, and anything that we might have thrown at us with regards to physical pain, doesn't really matter relative to no pain being in a purely spiritual form. Like, how do you cause pain to something that is formless? It's a really good question, right? How do you cause pain to your spirit? If you have no body, your body is the receptor. It's the mechanism that feels the pain. But our spirit, it's up to us if we want to transfer any of that pain from our physical receptors, whether they be our ears or our eyes. What we see could be painful. What we hear can be painful. What we feel on our skin and our body can be painful. Our heart, how somebody treats us emotionally, can be painful. But at the end of the day, all that pain is temporary, right? It's just all part of this experience in this form. And I can't help but think that that's what a lot of this is about, the way he describes it. So Isaiah, let me see, who's secretly a woman? What am I missing, Maria? I don't know who secretly a woman is. He bore our guilt and our sorrows. Yep. Just push through. That's funny. Spirit feels emotional pain. So, I don't know if our spirits feel the emotional pain. I think our mind might feel it and long for it through chemical reaction, but I'm not sure that our spirit feels that. Yeah, I do believe that we're just love. That is correct. I think love is what binds all of us together, frankly. We are spirit and body. Yeah, Caroline, I don't think our body's going anywhere. I don't think it's necessary. It's kind of like an old shirt. Like, you don't need your old shirt. And I think our body, relative to our spirit, is kind of like an old shirt. And God told you to do something and you didn't. Well, is the spirit See, that's an interesting philosophical question, Jim. With regards to, um, you know, can when you do something that God tells you shouldn't do, you hurt your spirit. But there's a saying, and I forgot which saint said this. God always will have mercy on all of our souls because it's God who lent us our soul. So our soul is not even ours. Um, is that so we may think we might have this delusion or sensation that we think our soul belongs to us, but what if it never does? And so it's kind of like this, and I'm going to go back to this whole body example. Can you imagine if one of our red blood cells basically turned to us and said, I'm calling the shots on you? And you'd be like, really? How are you going to pull this off? Red blood cell. White blood cell, what are you going to do? I'm going to call the shots on the rest of the body. How are you going to organize all that? You're going to kind of like take over the stomach? Where are you going to start? What's going to be your army? Or are you pulling this off, white blood cell? And so when I think about us as a collection of trillions of cells, we have probably trillions of synapses, in our brain taking place as well. I think that, anyways, so what's going on? Bobby, Joe claims George is requiring voters claiming whatever. Joe's an idiot. Anyways, that's the deal. Well, cancer is a different thing. K. Monty and Artisan. Cancer is those are cells if you think about it from a spiritual perspective, in some respects, cancer is probably an evil force, almost like a weird kind of possession of our cells on an individual level. Just like we have human beings around us that are possessed demonically, I think sometimes we can have cells that get demonically possessed, and then they go rogue and they try to take over the rest of the body. So to your point, cancer is kind of like rogue cells that think they can take over the body. And unfortunately, sometimes they do result in the death of our physical body. And so I agree with you that it is a problem with they're trying to take over our body or have more say or sway over what we do than they're entitled to, so to speak. So anyways, let me take a look here. Let's go to Psalms 34. Let me see here. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. O magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he heard me, and delivered me from all my fears. They looked upon him, and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. The poor man cried, and the Lord heard him, and saved him out of his troubles. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them. O taste and see the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him. O fear the Lord, yet his saints, for there is no want to them that fear him. The young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek the Lord shall not want any good thing. So, with regards to I don't know. What do you guys think about this one? Psalms 34. Anybody have any opinion on this one? Because this one's not an obvious read here. About the soul versus spirit, there's a difference. Jacob, what do you have to say about this one? That psalm brings great encouragement. reread it, please? I'll reread it a little faster. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof. I'm gonna actually put it on so you guys can see it. Let me just do that real quick. So we go like this. Hold on a second. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Here we go. Okay. So, oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he heard me, and delivered me from my fears. Then he looked unto him, and were enlightened, and their faces were not ashamed. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him, and saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them. O taste and see the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth him. O fear the Lord, ye his saints, for there is no want to them that fear him. The young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek the Lord shall not want any good thing. So, okay, I think I feel a little better about what this means now. You just have to reach out, taste and see the goodness of the Lord. Well, that's definitely a song, Sheila. I've heard that quite a bit in church. Taste and see the goodness of the Lord. He is proud and boastful of the Lord's glory, what he did for him. And so, the Lord shall not want any good thing. So, kind of like, when I kind of hear this, I think about the desire, it's like living desirelessly. And he will be with you and protect you. Yeah, keep God in your life, he will protect you. I agree, and I think it's kind of ironic, right? It's kind of like when you don't want anything, you get everything you need. You get everything you want. It's one of those types of things. When you go into I'm going to relate it to something, because this is my interpretation after reading it a second time. So I'm glad we read it a second time. Very good suggestion, Holly. Thank you for suggesting we read it again. If you go into a relationship, right? Everybody who's dated somebody for the first time, those who humble themselves amid the goodness of God's gifts, they are at peace. Yep, I agree. So let's go back to this whole idea of expectations. If you go into a relationship, and it's kind of funny how relationships work. Sometimes you go into a relationship and you try real hard, and you think you're going to mastermind it. It's going to work out, right? It could be a relationship where you want to date somebody. It could be a relationship with work or friends, whatever it is. You can try to speed it up. And if you do that and you're forceful, the whole thing kind of falls apart. It's very fragile. And something just doesn't gel. The energy's not there. The connection's not there on one of the sides. It's all in one person's head. But if you just do your thing, and you're sincere and you're truthful to yourself, and you're not, you don't have any attachment as to what should occur, good things seem to appear. Good things seem to happen. And so I think that's what sometimes happens, is that when we do things with no outcome in mind and no attachment, I have to tell you, folks, I'm living through a lot of this when I think about this, and the example I go back to is like Arizona. When I went through the Arizona data, and the first time, one of the things I said was, I'm not going to have any expectations of finding anything. I'm not going to assume there is issues. There aren't issues. I'm just going to see where the math takes me and what I dream about and so forth. And and that was it. And I didn't try to force it. I didn't think I would solve anything. I didn't have any expectations that something was going to be found. I was somewhat optimistic that something was developing. It was interesting. And I was really curious to see what the heck was going to pop out. I can tell you that much. I do remember being very excited about seeing where it was going to go based on what I was seeing along the way. Now, keep in mind, I've had other dreams where I see exactly what's going to happen, and then I just have to build it. This wasn't like that on the initial round. The initial round was just go with it, enjoy it, see what happens. And so when I kind of read this, I didn't want anything. I didn't expect anything from it. I just wanted to help. And I thought something was wrong. I think like a lot of us did, and we still do, and that things are wrong and we need to try to fix it. And we don't know who's going to, how it's going to be fixed or what our role is in fixing it. But, I think that's kind of, I would say that's what this means to me, kind of rereading it, is that, when we stop trying to do the right thing because we're worried it's always going to fall flat, then it's over, folks. When I hear people get down, or they're upset, or they feel like, all hope is lost in this country, this world, and I keep going back to the same thing, you're going to make that a reality. You need to stop with those thoughts. You need to act as though it's a brand new day. The world just started. It was all, we literally just got here. We were just born into this world, and we can speak. If you just think about your life that way, that you just arrived, you know what you know from your previous life, all the things that you knew were wrong about the earth, all the things that were wrong about other people and things, how people cheat. What would you do? You just got here from scratch. And I think that's what you should do. I think that's what I try. At least that's what I try to do. Maybe it's going to bite me in the ass or something. I don't know. Time will tell. Maybe I'm going to take 10 years off my life. I don't know. Maybe more. But I will tell you that if you kind of live a little bit with that non-attachment mentality to the outcome, and you just do what you know is hard, what is right in your heart, and what you think is right, and you pray on it and you think about it, and you only move forward when things really make sense, and you know what you're doing. I do think that it'll pay off, and you'll get the benefit of this psalm. So let's go to the next one real quick. Okay, this one's really quick, folks. Real quick. He that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself shame, and he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. First of all, I'm very, very, very happy that the Bible isn't like this the whole way through. You guys would be doing this 365 days without me. Like I couldn't read these 2 lines. If I had to read every passage like this, or like I think it would get old really fast. I'm glad that the English language has evolved over time. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the love here. I think no. This is the 1 year Bible, so I think they take a bunch of different things in here. But I'm just saying that I think everybody should say that one like 5 times real fast, and then you see how much you like it, so to speak. He that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself shame, and he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. So, anyways, I'm assuming rebuke. So let's see. Reproveth a scorner getteth himself shame. So if you prove someone who a scorner is what? I would say if you're a scorner, someone who's scorned is someone who's done something wrong. So if you point out somebody's flaws, you're going to be the one that's going to feel shame at some point. And maybe you feel shame in real time. I think that's the way I'm reading it. And then if you rebuke a wicked man, you're the one that's going to get a blot on you, on your soul or your spirit, or you're going to feel the after effect. So basically, the way I read the first line of 7 is mind your own damn business. There's always fallout, and you're going to get the fallout. So you're going to get the shame, and you're going to get the blot on you. So keep your mouth shut, and pick your battles wisely. You don't need to be the savior of other people. Leave that up to God. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. So there you go. Not a good plan if you're a smartass. I agree. But rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. So when we think about rebuking somebody, if you're confident enough in your response to rebuke or criticize a wise man, maybe a wise man will be more receptive to it because they're constantly in a state of trying to understand. So you should, I guess, part of the second sentence is to really know your audience. Some people will never learn, and you're going to get nothing but fallout. Other people, if you take a similar type of approach, you might actually get a friendship out of it. So that's what I think is going on. Wisdom seeks correction to the things that trip you up. Yes, I agree with you. That's the wise man. Good job, Thomas. That's awesome. Only the wise are willing to hear the truth. A wise person will love you. Yep, I agree. So with that, folks, that's it. That's it for the day. I'm still at the office, and so I'm going to head out, if you don't mind. We'll do some questions tomorrow. But thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. And I just want to say thanks again, for enjoying this journey, being along with this journey, going over this. And, it's a wonderful experience. We only have 321 more days to go. So that's not too bad. 3, 2, 1. So with that being said, God bless you. God bless your family and friends. May God continue to bless the greatest nation in the history of the world. And may peace be with you all. And I know that us putting God first and trying to do what we can to make the world a better place through God's teachings will bring more people peace. So let's all do our part. And so with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening and enjoy the rest of your night. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Thank you. Good night, everybody.